AI will take over our world. That's the headline you keep seeing. And while I may say that I've never cheated on an essay or an exam with ChatGPT, I have used it for one thing and one thing only: to get the best chocolate chip cookie recipe in the world. Now, keep in mind, I have made some changes from the original recipe, so this is the best of ChatGPT and the best of Chef Daniel smushed together into the best recipe ever. Let's go. Okay, so here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need 1 cup, that's 2 sticks, of melted to softened butter. You're gonna need 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of either light brown or dark brown packed sugar. You're gonna need 2 eggs, 1 and a bit tablespoons of vanilla, 2.5 cups of flour. You're gonna need in here 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. And you're gonna need 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Here, I'm using a mixture of chocolate chips and chocolate chunks to create a nice texture. So now, let's go. First, let's talk about the humble stand mixer. Now, you know I love a good stand mixer. They're really useful, they're really convenient, and a great tool for making cookies. Now, the extensions I'm gonna use, this one's optional. I'm gonna use this one to cream together the butter and the sugar and the vanilla and the wet ingredients. I'm gonna use this one to combine the dry ingredients. And this is an optional extra that I'll tell you about later on. Let's go. First, combine 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of either light or dark brown sugar. Add 1 cup of melted or softened butter. Now mix it until it's nice and smooth. Now, add 2 eggs, mixing thoroughly after each addition. Now, add in 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla extract. Now it's time for the best Chef Daniel segment. It's time for a taste test. And I'm excited to give this a taste test. You know, there's nothing better in life than pure diabetes fuel. A bit of butter, a bit of sugar, a few eggs, and some vanilla. Coincidentally, those are the exact ingredients that go into this, so I'm excited to give it a try. You know, there's not much to say here. What I'm gonna say is that it's sweet and canned at that. Now for the dry ingredients. First, into a bowl about this size, add 2.5 cups of flour, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. And give that a nice, thorough combining. Now that that's all well combined, I like to run it through a sieve again, just to make sure you got all those lumps out and it's a nice, beautiful texture. Next, I recommend adding this attachment onto your KitchenAid. Now, about a half cup at a time, or about as much as you'd like, add in your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients and mix it until all of the dry ingredients are just combined into the wet ingredients. Let's go. Here's a little Chef Daniel top tip. I'm going to use this dough hook to incorporate my 2 cups of mixed chocolate chips and chocolate chunks, which is a really great strategy. I really recommend it. This is great just for, you know, the kind of mixing. This is the kind of mixing you do with a wooden spoon, eh? And you're just doing it with this thing. Saving you the trouble. Look, it's already finished. Look at this thing. It's working like crazy. $0 an hour. It's still working. Now, you know I love a good kitchen gadget, and my favorite just may be the cookie scoop. Not only does it give you really a nice cute little scoop of ice cream, it's also, in the name, it's a cookie scoop. So here's what you do, see? You take a nice scoop of cookie dough, make sure to be generous with the chocolate chips, and put it on one of these silicone baking dishes. Give it a little bit of a squeeze, and out pops this perfect little ball of cookie dough, which will expand perfectly. Now put all of these cookies into a 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. I'll see you then. Hey, Opal, come over here. Come over here. Look at those cookies. Those were created by the computer. These cookies, can you believe it? ChatGPT and Chef Daniel but mostly ChatGPT has made it this far. And they wonder why AI is going to take over the world. Alright, so the cookies are out of the oven. This is after about 11 minutes. As you see, you might say, oh, well, Daniel, they're soft. And here's the thing. I am going to leave them to cool a little bit, and they're going to solidify because they just came out of the oven. Give them a little time to solidify, and they're going to become a little bit harder, but still nice and soft and chewy. And then put them on a few of these nice drying racks, and you're going to have one delicious cookie. And next come Chef Daniel's cookie jar tips. What we see here is a disgruntled Hopi dog. Reason for this is he hasn't gotten any scraps today. If you are a dog lover, you will understand why, which is those are chocolate chip cookies and dogs can't have chocolate. Hopi disagrees, but I disagree that he disagrees. So, no chocolate for you today, my sad but not suffering floof. Now, not to eat, but for a special segment that I'm going to call Chef Daniel's Cookie Jar Tips, because I've perfected the way of keeping chocolate chip cookies soft and chewy. So first, this is just a sample box, but you can use whatever box you want. What you want to do is layer the cookies. Like, you don't want to just throw the cookies in there. You want to kind of layer them nicely so that they have a bit of air in between them, because those little air pockets will be very important for the next step. Now, my next tip is to add some mini marshmallows. Big marshmallows would be ideal here, but we don't have any, so we're using these little fellows. So what you want is a little bit, just because like a slice of bread, but without all the crumbs, these will basically eliminate any moisture that could get trapped in the cookie jar and leave you with some delicious, soft, and chewy chocolate chip cookies. So there you are, Daniel's cookie jar tips. Oh, and one more thing, remember to seal the jar tightly. Look at all that like beautiful condensation. Once the pressure got so intense from all the moisture being sucked up by the chocolate chip cookie, by the marshmallows I mean, that the box almost caved in on me. Watch out for that. Hello everyone, and welcome to Now to Eat. Been exaggerated there, but you understand the point. So I have a beautiful chocolate chip cookie here. See, a nice plate of those, as you saw in the thumbnail. Floof longing for a cookie, but I'm sorry, Floof, you don't want to get into that. You don't want to get into that. But now, got my milk, my cookie. Santa would be jealous. Let's give it a taste. Wow, I don't know where to start. First of all, that is one decadent cookie. I mean, I've made this recipe before, but I made some changes, and this recipe is just absolutely incredible. I gotta say, probably my favorite things about this recipe, look at the lightness and the fluffiness and the amount of sugar in this cookies right now, and look at how loaded these cookies are with chocolate. That is incredible. They're delicious. I really recommend you follow this recipe. And hey, if you don't have the attention span to watch this video, I guess you can always just look it up on your good old friend ChatGPT. Now, with no further ado, this is Chef Daniel signing off. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy those delicious cookies.